Hello friends, in this lecture we will discuss about the dimension of social stratification, under which we will cover class and status group, and in the next lecture gender. So let us start now. Under class we have already mentioned the perspective. Already we have discussed, I have discussed in previous lectures about the perspective of Marx and Weber. So we have to go through that also, and I will upload the PDF file for that also. So now let us move forward. Now what Ralph Dahrendorf theory and class says that Ralph Dahrendorf in his book Class and Class Conflict in Industrial Society argued that in 19th century ownership and control both were in the hand of same group. But in advanced industrial society nowadays, the ownership and control mechanism aspects have become detached and now owned by a single group and not owned by the single group. For example, in modern private limited companies, control component has been given to managerial staff, non-owners, and ownership component has become highly dispersed among people because of the operations of the stock exchanges, shares and equity holdings. Classes have become more heterogeneous with time due to the specialized division of labor, and the working class will be further bifurcated into skilled, semi-skilled and unskilled. Now let us move forward. What E.O. Wright has said about, he is the neo-Marxist. Class division refers to inequality based on economic power. So how to decide economic power according to E.O. Wright is based on ownership and other criteria that under E.O. Wright covered Weber's perspective. So what he did actually, E.O. Wright just combined the perspective of Marx and Weber. E.O. Wright has argued that non-ownership class has a contradictory class location. Managerial workers are non-owners, but in the work they perform the task of managing the capital, that is, work like a capitalist. Thus, people in an organization cannot be put as owner, non-owner. For example, CEO of a company is salaried employee but control the entire company. Now let us see what Lloyd Warner has said. Lloyd Warner used positivist approach for identifying class division. He conducted research in Massachusetts in USA and concluded that people take certain criteria into consideration like occupations, prestige, educational background, income, place of residence, club membership in class formation. Now let us see what John Goldthorpe has said. Goldthorpe used Weber's idea of market situations to distinguish between class positions of different groups on the basis of skills in demand in the stratification system. He also took account of work situation, which referred to factors such as amount of job security and control over the work that individual has, as well as whether they managed or supervised others. On the basis of these factors, he produced a 7-class scale, which was simplified in 3 classes: the service class, professional, large employers and managers; the intermediate class, the routine white-collar workers such as clerks, small employers, supervisors, and the working class. Now let us see the W.G. Runciman model for industrial society like British. He uses both Marx concepts such as the means of production and Weberian concepts such as marketability. He defined the class as a set of roles whose common location in a social space is a function of the nature and degree of economic power attaching to them through their relation to the institutional process of production, distribution and exchange. So it's all about economic power related to the institutional process of production, distribution and exchange. So Runciman argued that economic power comes from three sources: ownership, legal title to some or all parts of means of production; second, control or contractual right to direct the applications to the process of production. Managers and supervisors are examples of people who possess control by virtue of their job. And third, marketability, possessions of an attribute or capacity which can be sold to employers. This refers to the skills, qualifications and ability to carry out physical labor possessed by individual workers. The class an individual belongs to is determined by the examining a combination of above three types of economic power. People can end up in higher class by having ownership, control or marketability, or any combination of the above three. Those towards the bottom of the stratification system have little or no control over production. They have very little wealth, or little or nothing in the way of marketability, skill or capacities. Runciman identifies 7 classes in British society based upon the positions of different amount of ownership, control and marketability. No need to mention all these 7 classes. So we have to just focus on the basic aspects of the Runciman model. Now let us come to Jan Pakulski and Malcolm Waters. Both are Australian sociologists. In their book The Death of Class in 1996 published, they have argued that class is no more a prime criteria for stratification system. It was more important in time of Karl Marx and till early 20th century. They have argued that in the fast emerging modern industrial society, class is fading away and outdating. New issues such as politics, gender, ecology, ethnicity, cultural values are replacing class and influencing social system. This is a direct indication that class is going through death path. Pakulski and Waters have argued that social system of capitalist society, that means Western society, has gone through the 3 phases. First one is economic class society. It existed in 19th century. Here society was divided between owners and non-owners. It clearly distinguished between owner and non-owner property. And non-owner property owning class controlled the state, and the culture was divided into dominant and subordinate ideologies. Second stage was the organized class society, existing during first 75 years of 20th century. It was dominated by state control economy. State became dominant force in society. The deprived group got organized through the trade unions, more favorable labor laws, and affiliation with political parties. The state elite exercised a strong control over the economic policy of redistribution. This phase was also marked state ownership of industries. Now the third stage is the status conventional society. In the last quarter of 20th century, capitalist society developed into a status conventional society. In this phase, stratification has become based on cultural rather than economic differences. So here they are emphasizing postmodern society stratification based on cultural aspects rather than economic differences. The strata are now lifestyle, value-based status configuration. They are formed around different patterns of values, consumptions, identity, belief, opinion, taste, etc. Most of the wealth now controlled by the large corporations. So wealth is now not so much individually controlled. Escalation in hierarchy now solely based on merit. Anyone can move up the hierarchy. So economic inequality became much less important in shaping status differences. So degree of choice is increasing for individual. Ownership of property no more related to power. Society is getting highly meritocratic. Due to all these factors, Pakulski and Waters declared that the status conventional society marked the death of class. Now critical evaluation analyze the present condition across the world and make notes. So you can do that, not an issue. Now second dimension of stratification, do by yourself. Now status group, the another dimension of stratification. According to Weber, a status group refers to a group of people sharing a common lifestyle by virtue of which they enjoy similar level of prestige. Status-based society and social groups are common features of pre-industrial societies. Some of the most prominent status-based stratification systems are state and slavery system in feudal European society, and the second one is the caste system in traditional Hindu society. In modern times also we find status-based stratification system across the world, like in India, South Africa and other developing and underdeveloped country. Caste system. Caste system is a social system in which one's social status is given for the life and it is decided by the birth. It is based on ascribed status. In caste societies, different social levels are closed, so individuals remain at the social level of their birth throughout the life. That means it is decided by birth, in which family we are born. Everyone's social status is based on personal characteristics such as perceived race, ethnicity, parental religion and parental caste. A person is born in caste and remains there for whole life. Prior to modern time, caste systems were found throughout the world. As Anthony Giddens has argued that in Europe, Jews were frequently treated as a separate caste, forced to live in a restricted neighborhood and restricted from intermarrying with non-Jews. However, this form of segregation was based on ethnicity. In caste system, intercaste contact with members of other caste is strongly discouraged. The purity of caste is often maintained by the rule of endogamy, marriage with same caste group. Race-based caste system in South Africa. So here there are different base on which caste is formed, like race. So race-based caste system in South Africa. Before its abolition in 1992, the South Africa caste system, termed as apartheid, rigidly separated black Africans, Indians, people of mixed races, and Asians from whites. In this case, the status of individuals are based on race. Whites, who were only 15% of the total population, controlled virtually all the land, industries, trade, and businesses, and had monopoly on political process. The black did not have a right to vote also. Blacks, who made 3/4 of total population, were segregated into impoverished state and were allowed to work only for whites. Now, another status-based stratification system is states. States were part of European feudalism but also existed in many other traditional societies. The feudal state consisted of strata of different obligational rights. The highest state was comprised of aristocrats and gentry, landed aristocrats. The second state was composed of clergy. The third state was composed of laborers, peasants, artisans, merchants, and other low-level strata of the society. Now, one is slavery. It is an extreme form of status-based inequality in which some people, slaves, are owned as property by others. For example, slaves in Greek and Roman societies, an early part of industrial society, slaves were engaged in plantation work in America. Though slavery is illegal in every country in the world, but it still exists in some places. F. Bells has given the examples of enslaved brick makers in Pakistan, sex slaves in Thailand, and domestic slaves in West Asia, relatively wealthy countries like UK, France, etc. Now, let us see about the status-based stratification system in contemporary industrial society. Status as follows: class, location of individuals and group. Status also follows class, location of individuals and group. Status also creates intra-class division. For example, some wealthy people have more prestige. They are aristocratic rich or old rich. New rich, often called new money, enjoy lower strata or prestige. Among workers and professional, skilled white collar professional enjoy more prestige and status. Non-skilled and small businessmen enjoy lower strata. So status division within the economic class prevents homogenization as contrary to the prediction of Marx, and also prevents polarization. So within the class there are different status groups, and these status groups prevent polarization as been said by Marx. The concept of status-based stratification in modern society got a new lease of life in the work of Jan Pakulski and Malcolm Waters' book The Death of Class. According to them, during the quarter of 20th century, capitalist society has developed into status conventional society. Here, stratification has become based on cultural rather than economic differences. Stratifications are now more lifestyle or value-based status configuration. Pakulski and Waters have distinguished four key features of change in stratification system in status conventional society. They are talking about postmodern advanced industrial society, or we can say post-modern society. So, four key features of change in stratification system. The first one is culturalism. Stratification is based on lifestyle, aesthetic, information flow. Second, fragmentation. In this new type of society, people have many different status based on their membership of different groups and different pattern of consumption. Third, autonomization. Individuals become more autonomous or independent in their values. Resignification. People can change their preferences and identifications, leading to great fluidity and unpredictability in status system of the society. So people can change one group to another based on their interest and changing modes. Sociologists also argued that where status groups are present, their hierarchical society doesn't develop. Basically a rigid society, hierarchical. Rather, hierarchy develops within the status group. Looking at the universality of the status group with respect to their present and looking at their changing composition, one can conclude that no society is purely hierarchical or purely stratificational nowadays. Within stratificational society, hierarchy is present, thus no society is absolutely open or closed. Rather, openness and closeness are matter of degree. So it's all about status, class and status as a dimension of stratification system. Now in the next lecture we will cover gender as another dimension of stratification system. Okay, thank you very much.